In just over 8 months after release, Overwatch had already earned over $1 billion from its in-game loot boxes. An amazing feat for any game, but just one of 5 games owned by Activision Blizzard that has reached this milestone using a similar model. Buy any game nowadays, and you are more likely than not to find an in-game storefront selling some kind of loot box.
You can't keep getting away with it!
From free-to-play mobile games to AAA releases, this is now a ubiquitous and incredibly lucrative part of the modern gaming industry. That was until the very anticipated Overwatch 2 announced that it would no longer be including any kind of loot box in the upcoming title. But why? Why had the game developers no longer wanted to include this profit-making machine? It all starts with another game and a post that marked the beginning of the end for loot boxes. In 2009, FIFA released its annual game, FIFA 09, but what made this game unique was the addition of player packs in its Ultimate Team mode. Users could pay either in-game or real money for the chance of getting better players to use in online multiplayer matches. This was the first implementation of what we know today as loot boxes. And they were a hit, a big hit, and EA noticed. Soon after, more of the publisher's games began including loot boxes to similar effect. Other popular releases such as Valve's Team Fortress 2 and CSGO also joined the trend. Then Overwatch released in 2016 and changed the landscape. CSGO had been very successful with its cosmetic loot boxes. However, when Overwatch designed their loot box system, they made it different, to say the least. They added flair, anticipation, and delay between opening the crate and figuring out what item you just got. In essence, they made each loot box opening into a larger dopamine hit, and more similar to the same psychological rush a gambler experiences. Within a year of coming to market, Overwatch had become one of the best-selling and most profitable IPs ever, in no short part to its loot box system, and it seemed like the good times would never end. But those making decisions became too reliant on loot boxes for revenue, and too greedy with how much they could earn. After much experimenting with what players are willing to put up with, they had finally crossed the proverbial line with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Soon after the game's beta release, players figured out that it would take an unreasonable amount of time to unlock desirable playable characters. The game had become a grind. That was, unless you opened your wallet and bought some of their loot boxes, which included these characters, as well as other rewards that gave you competitive advantages. It was what many video game consumers worried about, AAA games becoming pay to win, a tactic only seen in free-to-play mobile games. The backlash was palpable, with even mainstream press picking up on the story. In a moment that will go down in history for all the wrong reasons, an EA spokesman made a response to the public criticism. In an attempt to justify the grind of the game and the costs of loot boxes, they stated, "The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes." The frustration and anger of how game developers have monetized nearly every aspect of their games was now clear and focused. And in this rare case, consumers won, with EA removing loot boxes from Battlefront 2.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
However, other games were still racking in huge amounts of money. In 2020, EA reported that FIFA Ultimate Team alone brought in $1.6 billion, but it was about to get a whole lot worse for them. You see, after the Battlefront 2 debacle and subsequent news coverage, people began looking at other loot box systems, hoping to ride the wave of backlash to its farthest extent.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
And consumers began looking at FIFA packs. These had long been the ire of players, particularly the grind necessary to unlock them. EA was also extremely reluctant to release drop rates and statistics about these packs, adding to its frustration. But what's worse is that many viewed these packs akin to gambling, available in a game that you did not have to be an adult to purchase. In the past, EA and other companies skirted this line by stating that it was not gambling because you could not sell player cards for real money. Regardless of this, several lawsuits were filed, primarily in Europe. Although the success of this is unclear, this has given one of the biggest blunders ever captured on camera.
Do you consider loot boxes to be an ethical feature of your games?
Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. I think that was...
Whatever term you wish to apply to them, do you consider them ethical?
So what we look at as surprise mechanics.
Enough from the clown!
The result of this is that loot boxes have become something of a poisonous word and red flag for consumers, and video game publishers know it.
Can you feel that? Huh? Can you feel it, Captain?
Captain Compost!
On August 9th, Activision Blizzard made an official Overwatch blog post in which they announced that they will not be including loot boxes in the soon-to-be released Overwatch 2. Game companies became too greedy, too drunk with success, and lacked any respect for the consumer. And in one moment, we collectively said no to the future of loot boxes. What do you guys think? Will this announcement lead to the end of loot boxes? Do you think they're here to stay? Let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching.